Alright, so now let's address the one-piece wet shrink. So the method is one piece, and the moulding aid, we're going to say it's water, soapy water. So just to get it ready first, just a light mist on the rear screen, scour or steel wool. Let's give it a clean. This car's a little old, so it's good to remove everything off it first. You don't have to spend too much time on this, it's just, remove the dust, squeegee it off. Alrighty. Okay, one side. Okay, so now it's clean. Let's put the film on. So being a wet shrink, obviously wet water, let's put the water underneath. There's two main ways to do it. One is a wet shrink and the second is a dry shrink. They are quite self-explanatory, but feel free just to review or ask someone in your tin shop if you get the process mixed up. So again, let's roughly trim it, a little bit of excess, keep your blade away from the car. So now let's just position this. I want to cut about 1 inch excess, just so that if we damage the film or crease, we can always move it around. Ideally we don't want to crease, but the chances are when you're just starting out or it's a real curvy window, that may happen. Let's seal in the middle. What we're doing now is just locking the film on so it's not sort of sliding around, and we can only shrink on the top and bottom edge of the manufacturer, so we want to make a H pattern. So I'm going to lightly stretch to myself. I don't want to make it uneven where we've got big spears or fingers here, or vice versa. Let's try and make it right in the middle. Otherwise you're going to make the bottom really difficult and the top really easy. Down the side, if you've got a spear like this, if I run my hard card over that, it's going to crease 100%. So what I want to do is just stretch it and then pass my card through there. Again, to the bottom. So that's one side, you're going to across, up and down. So again, just a light stretch, seal across, stretch up, stretch down. Okay, so this is what we want it to look like. We've got our H, all our fingers, all the curve is the top and the bottom. And now we can start shrinking it. It's a good idea to have a towel here just to protect the trunk or the boot of the car. And again, with the lead, rather than dragging it on the customer's car, let's just put it over our shoulder. That way there's no risk at all that we're going to damage the car. Depending what sort of person you are, usually the bigger curve is on the corners, so you can tackle the easy ones first or the hard ones. I'll leave it up to you. Any big fingers, we can just run our fingers through like this and split them up. Before you get started, you want them all running vertical, like that, so it's all pretty even. They're all pretty much the same size. If there's a spear happening and it's sort of coming off to the side, we want to stop and we'll straighten it up and start again. Okay, so first of all, if I'm going to use this gold card straight down 100%, it's going to crease. So let's go with a rag or something like that, because you can run this up and down for days, you're not going to damage the film. So we'll start with this and then we'll finish with the hard card. Shrink the film, you're going to see it squiggle up, work your way to the bottom and push through. A spear this size, I'm not going to try and wipe it out in one go, but you can see here it was this size and now they're a bit smaller. So now I'm going to tackle the smaller ones. It might take 2 or 3 goes to eventually get rid of them. Once they're down to 2 centimeters or half an inch, that's fine, we can leave them, because if I put a card over there, it's not going to damage the film. So let's work it all down first with the rag, and then we'll finish with the hard card. Just quickly, you'll go off script, but when you're shrinking the rear screen, it's definitely not a race. So if you've got the heat gun right there trying to blaze it up, you're going to do that, you're going to burn it. So especially when you're learning, just take your time. If you're in a shop and there's a guy with 20 years experience, don't think that you can be like him straight away. Just put the effort in, take your time, and if you move at your own pace, you'll find the learning experience for tinting, it's going to be a lot better for you. Now that we've got this pretty much molded, it looks a bit ripply here, but a few little fingers or spears. I'm going to start with a gold card, just working it down. Okay. So now you'll find that anything's a lot smaller. I mean, you could shrink it all the way down to, you don't need to do this technique, but you want to manage them, so you're taking from bigger to smaller. Now we're going to move into this card where we can't damage the film. Okay, so like I said, we had a little bit of excess there, so if for some reason we damage the edge, we can move the film up or down, left or right. Also too, it looks to be sitting nice. When you heat the film, you are going to slightly burn the edge. Again, that's why we have extra, so then we can always cut that out. We'll move on to the top now. Again, let's straighten all these spears up, or these fingers up. Get into it. Okay, this has come down and started to fork out, so let's straighten it up. Give us 2 straight spears and start again. So if you're in a warm climate, if you're in Arizona or pretty much most of Australia, you'll find with a wet shrink technique, it's going to dry out pretty quick, you know, in a summer's day. The drier it is under there, the more chances of creasing it. So if you do run into that problem, all we can do is just lift it up, re-wet it, seal our H again, and you can see now there's a lot of moisture under there, you're not going to damage it. Okay, so now the film's ready to trim out and install.